Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fantasy Game Day Live here on FF Champs TV. It is week 6 in the NFL. I am Bill Enright from FFChamps.com, here to help you with your daily fantasy lineups on DraftKings, as well as your traditional season-long fantasy football rosters. We have a lot to do today, and a lot have to do with the injury report. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to it. Andrew Luck playing Sunday Night Football. He is questionable right now. But I think given the fact that he played in practice on Friday, or he participated in practice on Friday, he should be a full go against the Patriots game, against the Patriots. But again, if you have Andrew Luck, I would be sure that you have Matt Hasselbeck as his potential backup, just in case you need to make a last-minute switch. But I do think Luck is going to play. Other quarterback news, Tyrod Taylor from the Buffalo Bills. He may suit up today, but he is not going to be the starter. I think the Bills are just going to use him in an emergency situation. Get prepared to see E.J. Manuel under center for the Buffalo Bills. Let's move over to the running backs, where LaShawn McCoy, speaking of those Bills teams, he's going to be active for the first time in almost 3 weeks. Now, the team is saying that he might get only 50, 75% of the carries or the snaps, 75%. 50 to 75 of the workload. So LaShawn McCoy is someone that if you have him in your lineup, maybe a flex, maybe a borderline running back 2 if you're in a 12-team or a 14-team league. Some other running backs to get to. Carlos Hyde, questionable against the Ravens. Speaking of the Baltimore Ravens, Justin Forsett. The team just announced that they do expect him to play, but it could be on a limited basis. I'm not crazy about using Justin Forsett this week, but the fact that he's been so productive, you have to have him in your lineups if he's really, your running back 1, your running back 2, or your best flex place. So if you have a Forsett question, go ahead and submit it in the chat room. I'll be able to get to that in just a little bit. More running backs to get to, a lot of them today. Dion Lewis, questionable for the Patriots. Remember, it's a little bit dangerous because he's playing in that Sunday night game against the Colts. So if Lewis can't go and you don't have a replacement, you're going to have to get that 0 in your lineup. Jets and Eagles, maybe you can swap in someone like Shane Vereen. Maybe you have someone like LeGarrette Blount. Maybe you have Ahmad Bradshaw that you just picked up to swap in for Dion Lewis if he can't play. Tyrod Taylor is inactive, actually, today. He's not even going to suit up. And so is Percy Harvin. We're going to get to the wide receivers in just a little bit. More running backs. Isaiah Crowell, questionable for the Browns. Marshawn Lynch, listed as questionable. Fully expect him to be a go today against the Carolina Panthers. That game is in Seattle. Remember, Lynch hasn't played really in the last 3 games. Thomas Rawls was in action for the last 2. Before that, Lynch was active, but he only played in the first quarter. So it's really almost been 3 games since we saw Marshawn Lynch back on the field, but the Seahawks are convinced that he's going to be ready to go. Ryan Matthews is questionable for the team's Monday night game against the New York Giants. I'm just looking to see if any news popped up. No, it just says E.J. Manuel. Back to Ryan Matthews. He is questionable for their game against the New York Giants. And then Matt Jones is unlikely to play today, is what I'm hearing from the Washington Redskins. So more running backs. I told you it's a long one. T.J. Yeldon is out. Get him out of your lineups. Denard Robinson, Toby Gerhart are going to be featured in that Jacksonville Jaguars backfield. Toby Gerhart really did not do anything with this opportunity last year. Denard Robinson looked pretty good, but they drafted Yeldon to be the guy, and he's been that for them so far. But without Yeldon in the lineup today, I would think Denard Robinson is going to be the one to start. Now, please, let's not get carried away with ourselves with putting Denard Robinson in all of our lineups. He's playing against the Houston Texans team. Blake Bortles a little bit banged up. So don't go crazy about who you're starting Denard Robinson over. He's a borderline flex play, maybe a borderline running back 2 if you're in a 12 or 14 team league. Not a bad option if you're using it on DraftKings because he's so cheap. I actually have him in one of my lineups. But I'm not going crazy putting in Denard Robinson all over my lineups. I'm certainly not going out of my way to drop someone that is usually in my lineup. Maybe your 4th wide receiver. I'm not going to drop him just to get Denard Robinson on my team. And the last running back is Theo Reddick from the Detroit Lions. He is questionable right now as the Lions are taking on the Chicago Bears. Wide receivers, there's a couple of them. Deshaun Jackson out for the Washington Redskins. Nelson Aguilar out for the Philadelphia Eagles. Percy Harvin out for the Buffalo Bills. And right now I'm hearing that Percy Harvin could be out an extended period of time. So he's probably someone that you could be dropping in the next day or so as we're heading into week 7 after this week's games. But Percy Harvin, he's perennially injured. It's just amazing that he has all this talent, but he just can't stay healthy. I never draft him on any of my teams because, one, he's not very productive when he's on the field. Got a lot of talent, but hasn't done much. And then 2, he's always injured. So again, Deshaun Jackson, Nelson Aguilar, Percy Harvin out. Demaryius Thomas questionable, expected to play. Alshon Jeffrey, haven't seen him since week 1. Questionable, expected to play. Odell Beckham Jr. Now this one's going to be tricky. Giants are playing on Monday night. Unless you have a Dwayne Harris, I can't even say Nelson Aguilar, he's out. Riley Cooper. Maybe you can put Odell in the flex and then use a guy like Sproles, use a guy like Vereen, use a guy like, a Josh Huff. But Odell Beckham is a true game-time decision. So unless we find out in the next hour or two if he's going to play, you could be really stuck with Odell on your lineup and having a 0. So Odell Beckham Jr. A game-time decision for that Monday night matchup, and then Sammy Watkins, who's been chirping a lot about getting more targets from the Buffalo Bills. He hasn't been on the field. Got to be on the field to get more targets, Sammy. You know that. So we'll see him back out today. Let's see if the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And then the tight ends, Martellus Bennett of the Chicago Bears is dealing with a quadricep injury. They do expect him to play, but he is a little bit banged up. All right. Boy, oh boy, that was a lot of injuries today. Going right to your questions. Let's get to it. Good morning, Bill. Eddie Monaco, non-PPR. Keenan Allen or Antonio Gates? I like Keenan Allen in the non-PPR format. I like Keenan Allen in the PPR format. In the non-PPR, I got to use Antonio Gates, especially now that we saw how much he's still going to be productive this season. His first game back, scored 2 touchdowns. So in the PPR, I like Keenan Allen, but in the non-PPR, I would go with Antonio Gates. BC Bengal, Blake Bortles or Peyton Manning. I can't believe we're at that point in Peyton Manning's career where we're considering benching him for Blake Bortles. Bortles has been, I think Peyton Manning had like 7 points last week. But no, I am going with Peyton Manning against the Cleveland Browns. Standard scoring league for Aaron. Pick 2 running backs, Frank Gore. Hold on, let's put this here. Okay. Pick 2 running backs, Frank Gore, Chris Johnson, C.J. Anderson, Amir Abdullah. By the way, I have a gut feeling C.J. Anderson goes off today against the Browns D. You know what? I had that feeling too. Ronnie Hillman a little bit slowed by a hamstring injury. I am starting C.J. Anderson in one of my leagues that I drafted him in. I benched him last week. I think it was for Doug Martin. But anyway, yeah, I am putting C.J. Anderson in, mostly because I have to. I think Doug Martin's on a bye, right? Yeah. So I am going to put C.J. Anderson in. And then Chris Johnson, I'm going to bench him. I'm going to go with Frank Gore. I'm expecting a lot of points in that Colts-Patriot game. So I'm going to go with C.J. Anderson. I'm going to go with Frank Gore. That one's for my man Aaron. Scott McDonald's in a full-point PPR league flex. Antonio Gates or Jordan Matthews? Oh, the Dolphins promoted Kenny Stills to a starter. That's not really that big of news. I'm sorry. Something about Kenny Stills being the starter. I mean, who is he really the starter over? Greg Jennings? Rashard Matthews? Big deal. Scott McDonald in a full-point PPR league flex. Antonio Gates or Jordan Matthews? That one's tough. I think without Nelson Aguilar, the Giants secondary has a lot of problems in it right now. Prince Amukamara is hurt. They're starting this guy, Jaron Hosley. It's at home for the Eagles, who have been coming on strong. I think Sam Bradford back-to-back games of 300 yards. I like Gates a lot. Full-point PPR, I am going to go with Jordan Matthews, though. I think Matthews is going to have one of those, 8 for 110 and a touchdown type games. Gates could certainly have 6 for 60 in his touchdown. Scott, look at your opponent's lineup. If you're projected to win by 10 points or more, use Gates. Be safe. If you're projected to lose by 5 points or more, go with Matthews. I think he has just a little bit more upside this week, but that's a very tough call. Try Noonian, or Mad Dog, 31, half-point PPR. Which pickup? Toby Gerhardt's an art. See, this is what I was afraid of. I mean, I don't know who you're dropping. I don't know who you'd be starting them over. Denard Robinson and Toby Gerhardt are good for 1 week, while TJ Yeldon is hurt. So is it a 1 week play? Is it a move for the future? I'd probably go with David Johnson or Thomas Rawls if it's a move for the future. If it's a 1 week play, I'd probably go with Denard Robinson. But I need a little bit more context to that question. The Theodicy. Javaris Aaron, Amir Abdullah, or Denard Robinson in a flex spot. I guess Denard Robinson. This is what I was afraid of. But Buck Allen will be on a limited snap count as long as Justin Forsett's active. I don't have that answer yet. Right now, the inactives are coming in for the 1 o'clock games, but not for the 4:30 games or 4 o'clock games. So we're going to have to wait a little bit to see if Justin Forsett is going to be active. Right now, the team's saying he will be. And for that reason, I can't tell you to start Buck Allen. So I guess it's Denard Robinson for you. Another one from the Theodicy. Golden Tate or Dante Moncrief. I'm going to go with Golden Tate. Something about the Lions benching Stafford last week, playing against the Bears. I'm going to tell you to go with Golden Tate. Aaron picked 2 running backs in a standard league. LeGarrette Blount, LaShawn McCoy, Chanjark West, Jeremy Hill. I'm intrigued by West. Very intrigued by him. But I'm going to go with LeGarrette Blount because he has run over the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, stomped them out. The Patriots, Jonas Gray ran for 200 yards against the Colts last year. In the playoffs, LeGarrette Blount had a monster game. So I'm absolutely going with LeGarrette Blount. I'm going to wait and see on LaShawn McCoy. It's a toss-up between Jeremy Hill and Chanjark West. If you're sick of getting burned by Jeremy Hill, which I'm sure a lot of you are, myself included, then go with West. I'm not going to tell you to be, the definition of insanity is going with the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. So until we see something more from Jeremy Hill, go with West. See what this kid can do. There's a little bit of intrigue, a little bit of mystery, a little bit more upside with him. So go with Blount and go with West. Zeus Bigelow, non-PPR league. Beckham and Forsett hurt. How would you rank Forsett, Vereen, Beckham? I need to play 1. I added Cecil Shorts to my starting wide receiver so I can move Beckham to the flex, so I don't have to make the decision until afternoon games. I mean, assuming they're all playing, let's assume we're on a level playing field here. Assuming they're all playing, it's Odell Beckham 1, Justin Forsett 2, Shane Vereen 3. Taking the injuries into account, I think it's the safest way is to put Odell Beckham in your flex, and then you swap out or swap in Shane Vereen if you need to come Monday night. If Beckham is inactive, then you can at least swap in Shane Vereen. I guess you can't do that with Justin Forsett. So it looks like you're benching Forsett. I'd rather see you bench Forsett and then risk playing Shane Vereen than starting Forsett and then all of a sudden Odell Beckham's active. So that one was for Zeus Bigelow. Neil C., ridiculous to ask. Jeremy Hill or Shane Vereen? Yes, it is ridiculous to ask, especially in a standard scoring league. Shane Vereen does nothing. Dwight Palmer, PPR league. Jimmy Graham or Julius Thomas? If this was 3 years ago, you'd have the best tight ends in the league, right? But I'm going to tell you to go with Jimmy Graham against the Panthers today. Neil C., Moncrief or Steve Smith as ODB replacement, Phillip Rivers or Eli. I'm going to go with Rivers against the Packers, and then I guess Steve Smith against the 49ers. ODB replacement, again, I'd rather see you start someone that you can at least swap in if Beckham's hurt. Because if you're starting Steve Smith instead of Odell Beckham, that's a tough pill to swallow. Stugatz Fugazi, PPR league, pick 2, Golden Tate, Marvin Jones, Kamar Aiken, or Ty Montgomery. Pick 2 of these guys, huh? I'm not going with Kamar Aiken this week. I think that ship has sailed a little bit. Steve Smith's back. Golden Tate is my pick. Devontae Adams still not playing. Ty Montgomery and Marvin Jones, PPR league. Ty Montgomery had the big touchdown last week, 38-yarder. Aaron Rodgers says the offense is broken, yet they're undefeated. He gives a large part to their defense. Pick 2. Golden Tate is in for me. Marvin Jones or Ty Montgomery. Where are they at? Montgomery. Yeah, that's close, man. That's really close. Golden Tate is ranked 31. Ty Montgomery is ranked 34. Marvin Jones ranked 30. Wow. I guess go with Marvin Jones and Golden Tate. 30, 31, and 34. Really tight. Really tight. Yeah, Golden Tate and Marvin Jones, unless you want to play a Packer. If you want some of that Packer Charger action, then go with Golden Tate over Marvin Jones. How about that? Go with Golden Tate and Ty Montgomery instead of Marvin Jones. That's only if you want to play Packer. Chris George, better flex option, Jeremy Hill and a half-point PPR or Travis Kelce. I'm going to go with Kelce there. Oh, have the mighty have fallen. Raging Bull, 22, half-point PPR, need 1. Amir Abdullah or Duke Johnson. Isaiah Crowell's banged up. Duke Johnson's going to get all the work. I'm going to go with Duke. Going with Duke there. Cody Dude, West or Woodhead? Standard scoring, I'm going to go with West. John Smith, need 2 in a non-PPR. Alan Hearns, Duke Johnson, Nile Davis. Non-PPR, I'm going to go with Duke Johnson. Isaiah Crowell is hurt. Or I can pick up Denard Robinson, but running backs get extra points for receiving yards. Yeah, I'm going to go with Duke Johnson, and I'm going to go with Alan Hearns. I'd leave Denard Robinson out there. Tara. Hello, Tara. Is Tara like the first woman ever we've had in this chat room? Usually it's just a bunch of dudes. Thanks for joining us, Tara. Please pick 2. 1. Please pick 2. 1 for starting tight end and 1 for flex, where flex can be a tight end. All right, Jimmy Graham, Richard Rodgers, or Dante Moncrief. Let's go with Jimmy Graham as a tight end. And then for the flex, I'm going to go with Dante Moncrief in the PPR. Leave Richard Rodgers on the bench. John Smith needs 3 non-PPR, but running back extra points for receiving yards. C.J. Anderson, Gio, Shane Breen, Jonathan Stewart, Steve Smith. All right, Jonathan Stewart and Steve Smith are out. All right, Jonathan Stewart has a terrible matchup. He's been awful. Steve Smith, not bad. But I'm going to go with C.J. Anderson, Gio Bernard, and Shane Breen, especially since those running backs get a little bit extra points. Need 2 in a non-PPR. Yeah. Jordan Matthews, yes. Chanjarik West, no. Denard Robinson, no. Gio Bernard, yes. So Jordan Matthews and Gio. Raging Bull, Morning Bill, full point PPR, not need 1 for a flex. David Johnson or Thomas Rawls. I can't start Thomas Rawls now that Marshawn Lynch is back. Go with David Johnson. Man, that running back's a mess situation too. David Johnson scores though. I don't know what Thomas Rawls is going to do with Lynch back. Kutta 187. Bang bang. Non-PPR. Charles Clay or Darren Fells. I'm going to go with Charles Clay. Who else will throw into? Even if it's EJ Manuel. Aaron, would you add Denard Robinson and go with Javaris Allen, 12-man, then start him? The Theodicy, I don't understand that question at all. Would you add Denard Robinson and go with Javaris Allen, 12-man? Oh, okay. 12-man league. Would you add Denard Robinson and go with Javaris Allen? No. If you're choosing between Buck Allen and Denard Robinson, I'm going with Denard Robinson. I hope that answers your question. Cody Dude, banged up Bennett or Barnage? I guess, hey, I can't knock him anymore. I was foolish for knocking him last week. I don't think it's sustainable, but run him while he's hot. I guess you're going with Gary. Aaron, Eli Manning versus Saints or Sam Bradford versus Giants. I'm pretty sure they're playing each other. Eli is playing the Eagles. Sam Bradford's playing the Giants. I think that's how it works. Saints played on Thursday. I don't know how you're going to do that matchup. But if you're picking between Eli and Bradford, I'm going to tell you to go with Bradford. Stugatz Fugazi has a pick 1 PPR. Tannehill or Mariota. I'm not sure why PPR has anything to do with their quarterback selection, but I'm going to tell you to go with Ryan Tannehill. Chris just asked Gary with a question mark. Don't know what that's referring to. And then T-Web71 is in a full point PPR league. Needs 1 running back and 1 flex. Jeremy Hill, Shane Vereen, and Alan Hearns. I'm going to go with Alan Hearns. He's been hot. I'm going to go with Shane Vereen. Full point PPR. Leave Jeremy Hill on the bench. That's crazy. Aaron says, thanks, Bill. Awesome. As always, great job. Thank you very much. Except for that little Eli Saints blunder you just had. Blake Bortles or Marcus Mariota. I'm going to go with Blake Bortles. That's for BC Bengal. Non-PPR, John Brown or Ty Montgomery. I always say Ty. I'm going to go with Ty Montgomery. And then Zeus Bigelow with the final question of the day. Dequay question. I've been taking a beating all year. This week I'm mainly in for 50-50 single lineup play. Edelman or Keenan Allen? Edelman. I'm leaning towards Edelman, but I'm already playing blunt. That's fine. Check out my 50-50 lineup. I posted it on the website. All right, couple more questions. Mad Dog 31. Which running back for this week only? Denard Robinson or David Johnson? Go with Denard Robinson. And Theodosy. How do you like Larry Donnell? Point predictions, 12-man standard league, 7 points. Colts Rock, PPR league. To make room for Marshawn Lynch coming off IR, I need to drop one of these guys. David Johnson, Eric Decker, Pierre Garçon. I guess I'm dropping David Johnson. Or Garçon. I'm not dropping Decker. Whoa, all these questions just popped up. I guess I'm dropping. I like David Johnson's upside, but there's 3 guys there. Drop David Johnson. Over Steve Smith or Moncrief, would you drop Safarian Jenkins and pick up Dwayne Harris and then start him? Yes, I absolutely would. That's a good way to do it. Get rid of Austin Safarian Jenkins, pick up Dwayne Harris, start him if ODB can't play. That's thinking on your feet. Good job. Stu Gotts for Gazy. PPR trade question. Drop Marcus Mariota for Phillip Rivers. Yes, I want Rivers on my team over Mariota. T-Web says, thanks. You're welcome. And Steve Hackern says, in place of Odell at wide receiver, John Brown, Bolden, Marvin Jones, Ruben Randall. Well, if you plan on playing Ruben Randall, why wouldn't you just play Odell Beckham Jr.? They're on the same team. They're both playing on Monday night. You'll be able to swap in Odell Beckham if Ruben Randall plays, right? Right? So I think that's the right plan. And with that, I want to say thanks for watching this Week 6 version of Fantasy Game Day Live here on FF Champs TV. Best of luck to you in Week 6. Hope you all win some money. Hope you all win some matchups. Thanks for watching and have fun.